of the motion, and specifically for the following reasons. I think it is common knowledge that the work of each committee is to ensure that they carry out their task as per our standing orders. These two committees, the committee of CPAC and CPIC, have adhered to the constitutional threshold and the timelines for them to be able to investigate and try actually to come in and mediate between the Auditor General and the county governments. These governors had an opportunity. They had a big opportunity to be able to go there and say, when we were asked, or when we were given our draft management letter, and we were given 2 weeks, we responded to the Auditor General, and they provide the evidence of having communicated with the Auditor General before the Auditor General finally rendered her opinion. But what did they do? They decided to boycott because of pride. Senator Kajwang and Senator Otsoti's committee went ahead and tabled a report. And the earlier motion, which I drafted, saw it fit for that committee to continue implementing, because we do not have an implementation committee. But because every other senator said, now that this report belongs to the House, why don't we add another layer of oversight? Because it is true, I've listened to Senator Mariam speaking very passionately about the reports, the recommendation that this Senate normally comes up with. And Mr. Speaker, Parliament pronounces itself only through motions and bills. So when it comes to a time when Parliament has come up with a motion and pronounces itself, the biggest problem nowadays comes into the issue of implementation. So the good senator of Kisii, Senator Onyonka, saw it fit and said, because this CPAC and CPIC had already carried out their task, and they have presented a report which is now the property of this House, which can now be commented on by any of the senators who sit on both sides of the aisle, why not extend oversight and create another layer so that we can be able to track the implementation of those recommendations which were approved by this House? Mr. Speaker, I couldn't even add anything more. That is ingenious. Let's follow through. Have a sit down with EACC and said the Senate had the following recommendations. And these recommendations, EACC, are not just from nowhere. They are based on facts. And if there's one thing, Mr. Speaker, that EACC would be doing to this generation and the future generation, borrowing from the words of Senator Mandago, that the records of a government is kept for 30 years. The younger generation now, who will be tasked to paying loans and loans and loans that we are borrowing domestically and internationally, would be asking questions and said, the Senate of Kenya came up with some recommendation to be able to demand for accountability. And they recommended that UACC carries out the following recommendation because of facts that have been laid out by the Auditor General. What did you do? What did you do? Mr. Speaker, when our time is up in this world, and because I keep on reminding us that power is transient, we are now very powerful. Mr. Speaker, when you sit there, you're very powerful. But there'll come a time when you will not be powerful. When you will be sitting down in your manicured mansion, in your village, and the only thing you can say is luxury is your small surrounding that you have been able to work, toil so hard to be able to create for yourself. But when you are now frail and have to go to a hospital, there is no road to take you to that hospital because, Mr. Speaker, we did not follow up on our recommendations when you are a senator to make sure that EACC carries out its work. to make sure that we come as a bridge between EACC and ODPP. Because currently, these guys are parallel in terms of their thinking. It is either EACC way or the highway when it comes to EACC. And likewise, it is either ODPP way or the highway when it comes to ODPP. Mr. Speaker, this will bring insanity when it comes to the issue of accountability. And I want to reiterate, Mr. Speaker, the issues that I raised on my motions were very clear. We need to track this, the implementation. We do not have an implementation committee. And I don't want governors to confuse there and then I'll say, oh, we will now not go to CPIC and CPAC, we'll go to the ad hoc. No, the ad hoc will be sitting down and all the other senators will be sitting there. Because, Mr. Speaker, if there was a way to be able to have something where a lot of people confuse and they call the committee of the whole, where the speaker sits there, all the senators sit on one side, and all those governors sit here, or they come and sit here as witnesses, we would convert plenary into that. But because in practical there's nothing like that, the best way is to sit, get these distinguished men and women, 15 of them, give them a clear mandate and tell them this is what you are following. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, of our recommendations, or rather what we hope the Senate will resolve, is to ensure that those governors who are unable to account for the resources, those ones who are running away, hiding, and saying that they are being embarrassed. But the truth of the fact is that it is their own documents which are an embarrassment. Number 4, Mr. Speaker, if it is fully implemented and followed by this ad hoc committee, will ensure that those people will not run in 2027. Because one of the resolution which is being sought by the motion is to be able to find these people unfit under the Integrity and Leadership Act. So this is not something simple or easy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, essentially what we are saying is that very soon we'll have billboards in this country with faces of all those governors who are perpetuating an impunity. Where you put a billboard in the streets of Nairobi, Mombasa Road, along Mombasa Road, in every county, and say your governor is among those ones who does not believe in accountability, who has got an issue with the fiduciary duty that you've already tasked them with. So, Mr. Speaker, this matter is very serious. And there is no side shows. You know, in fact, I know that my good friend and brother, and the distinguished senator from Nairobi, as well as a distinguished senator from Migori, what they were doing yesterday is what every citizen in this country should be doing. It was a citizen arrest. They were not interested in the political theatrics. What they were interested is in accountability. And in fact, my brother really embarrassed me. Because what I expected him to do was to come in and say, all right, gentlemen, I have nothing to hide. Yes. Because, Mr. Speaker, I want to be open and say this. I did speak to my brother. And he said the problem was us, that we invited him in 2 committees at the same time. What was so difficult with him coming in and saying, this is the problem? So, Mr. Speaker, because I see my time is up, and I want my brothers to be able to comment, I support the amended version of my motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Joyce Corey.
Honorable Speaker, allow me also to